Hello, my name is QGG and welcome back to my channel. Yes, it has been a while. Definitely more than a month. I disappeared, I know. But I promise I did not come back empty-handed. We have a lot to discuss today. Some of these topics were requested. Some of them absolutely were not. But either way, I have opinions. And if you're here, you probably already know I'm not the type to sugarcoat them. So consider this a catch-up episode. These are my current K-pop opinions. The hot ones. The controversial ones. The ones that might make you pause the video and type a paragraph before finishing it. Now remember, opinions are not personal attacks. You can disagree. You probably will disagree. That's fine. That's normal. Just don't act brand new in the comments. Alright. Let's get into it. Katseye's Grammy performance was a hot mess / HYBE is not original. Let's start with Katseye at the Grammys. That performance showed me exactly what they've been from day one. A fad. A cash grab. A trendy experiment designed to go viral first and be musically meaningful second. And honestly, that's the HYBE formula lately. When Katseye performed Gnarly, I physically cringed. And I don't say that dramatically. It was one of those performances where you're sitting there thinking, okay, maybe it'll pick up. And it just doesn't. Overall, it wasn't catastrophic. It wasn't unwatchable. But it was painfully flat. And without heavy autotune, those lyrics hit even worse.
Bobatea, gnarly, Tesla, gnarly, friet blah blah blah.
In the studio version, it's chaotic in a campy way. Live, it just sounded awkward. Like someone read a TikTok comment section out loud over a beat. The beginning was tolerable. It had energy. But the second Lara came in, I felt devastated. Because every time I see her in this group, I'm reminded of how much potential is being wasted. She has presence. She has vocal color. And yet she's stuck shouting trendy phrases in a song built around randomness. And the ad-libs? Why was she the one doing, "Oh, we in a session tonight," followed by "gang gang"? It looked forced. It sounded forced. It felt like a corporate version of edgy. Respectfully, it was not it. Once they fully made it to the main stage, that's when the cracks became obvious. Manon sounded tired. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt here. Nerves, excitement, overexertion. Fine. But this is the Grammys. This is not a music show rehearsal. If your stamina collapses that quickly, that's a problem. From that point on, dancing was the only thing saving them. Because vocally, it felt like lip-syncing was the safer option than risking sounding exhausted. And when your big global moment relies more on choreography than vocal confidence, something is off. The biggest mistake. They didn't perform Gabriella, the song they were nominated for. That would have actually proven why they deserved to be there. Instead, they chose the most meme-ified, TikTok-friendly track in their catalog. And that choice told me everything. It made me realize that there isn't anything distinct about Katseye's music career trajectory. They are following the same HYBE blueprint. Find a trend, amplify it, make it loud, make it viral, and move on. It's not innovation. It's optimization. HYBE markets global dominance, but lately it feels like algorithm chasing. And if Katseye continues leaning into brain-rot TikTok aesthetics instead of developing artistry, they might genuinely be remembered more as a viral moment than a lasting act. xlv Dazzle Flash. Now let's talk about xlv's Dazzle Flash. There was so much hype around this comeback. Higher budget. Brand new concept. Visual teasers promising something bold. And yet, it felt flat. Lyrically, I'll admit it was stronger than RRUN. There was at least a clearer theme. But even with that improvement, something was still missing. The song builds like it's about to explode into something powerful, and then the chorus arrives and just sits there. The chorus was genuinely disappointing. After a solid pre-chorus build-up, it drops into something that feels empty. No punch. No hook that lingers. Just noise dressed as impact. Niz carried the pre-chorus. Her vocals were the highlight. Strong, stable, emotional. I wasn't a fan of the blonde highlights visually, but vocally? She understood the assignment. Aria, on the other hand, sounded forced. The nasally verses and ad-libs felt unnatural. And it's not just her, it feels like Control X, their producer, is pushing this specific vocal tone onto the members. That slightly strained, edgy nasal delivery. It works for Hannah. It works for Nova. But it does not work for everyone. Not every voice needs to sound aggressive to sound powerful. I-dle surprised me this comeback. She didn't sound bad. Congratulations. Let her stay in the lower register. That's where her tone shines. It's still not on the level of her vocals in Synchronize, but it's a step in the right direction. Now we need to talk about the lyrics. What does dazzle flash even mean? It sounds like someone learned 2 English words 5 minutes ago and decided to build a chorus around them. And honestly, that's the pattern. Whenever Control X writes an IN song, it feels like he grabs a random English phrase he doesn't fully understand and forces the entire track to revolve around it. And why are we talking about pheromones in a song about empowerment? What is this obsession with random biology terminology? It's giving middle school science class meets girl crush concept. The music video didn't help. Girl, why are we in Dubai? The simple neighborhood shots looked good. Clean. Stylish. Grounded. But then suddenly we're green-screened onto the moon, floating in space, riding hoverboards through Dubai with cheap black bob wigs that look like they came from a Halloween clearance bin. It killed the immersion completely. This comeback had potential. The budget was there. The concept had direction. But the execution, musically and visually, felt like it was trying too hard to look expensive instead of actually feeling cohesive. And that's the frustrating part. Because the members themselves are capable. Blackpink concept photos plus comeback. Why does Deadline feel low effort? Let's talk about Blackpink and this Deadline comeback rollout. The hype. Massive. The build-up? Insane. The results so far? Underwhelming. I'm genuinely confused how something can be teased this heavily and still feel this low effort. First of all, the album having fewer than 10 songs is disappointing. We've waited through a long hiatus. These girls have been everywhere individually. Fashion houses, global campaigns, solo releases, acting, touring. The amount of money generated during that hiatus alone is astronomical. So why does this comeback look plain? The concept photos are fine. But that's it. Fine. They don't scream evolution. They don't scream risk. They don't even scream, we're back. It feels like luxury minimalism on autopilot. Styled well, shot well, but creatively safe. And when you've had this much time, this much budget, and this much global anticipation, safe feels lazy. For a group at their level, expectations are high. That's not hate. That's the reality of being one of the biggest girl groups in the world. Now, I'm still looking forward to the music. I'm not writing it off before hearing it. But I really hope we get a strong Lisa rap verse this time. Because her last solo album? It did not do it for me. The production felt hollow, the lyricism felt repetitive, and it leaned too heavily on image over substance. If Deadline is supposed to reassert dominance, then it needs to actually deliver something memorable. Not just expensive visuals and brand alignment. Jennie fans are stupid. Not all of them. Okay. Let's address the comments on my last video. Some of you were unhinged. And I mean that with love. The comment section was dreadful. It genuinely felt like people watched the first 30 seconds, got mad, and typed without finishing the video. Now yes, I'll admit my tone was harsh. I'm aware of that. I'm not pretending it was gentle criticism wrapped in a bow. But harsh does not equal dishonest. I gave my opinion. If you don't want my opinion, you don't have to watch the video. It's not mandatory viewing. It's for people who are curious about a different perspective. Not for people looking for praise. I don't expect everyone to agree with me. That would be weird. But basic human decency is not that difficult. Attacking how I speak, how I edit, asking whether I dance or sing. What does that prove? Should I ask you the same thing? Because apparently, according to user cozy_flower7, you have to be an idol to have an opinion about an idol. That logic makes no sense. By that reasoning, none of us can critique movies unless we're directors. None of us can critique food unless we're chefs. None of us can critique politics unless we're politicians. It's ridiculous. All I said was that after years in the industry, Jennie should be operating at an elite performance level. Maybe not Beyoncé level, that's a whole different universe, but certainly sharper than what we saw. Criticism is not hate. And disagreement is not disrespect. Allday.project dating rumors are stupid. Now, funny enough, allday.project fans were surprisingly calm compared to some other fandoms. So thank you for that. Especially considering I've been openly critical of the group. When it comes to their dating rumors or so-called scandals, though, I genuinely think this is strategic. The Black label knows exactly what it's doing. Allday.project thrives on chaos. They're marketed as edgy, unpredictable, slightly messy. So what better way to keep them trending than sprinkle in relationship rumors? Attention is currency. And controversy drives clicks. Do I think it's real? Maybe. Maybe not. Honestly, if they are dating, it's none of my business. They're adults. But from a marketing standpoint, the timing always feels convenient. And if it keeps them in headlines between comebacks, then the label wins. Next. i-dle versus xlov. Queerbating versus authenticity. This one might ruffle feathers, but here we go. Ever since I was introduced to i-dle, something about their image has felt calculated. They've leaned heavily into LGBTQ-coded themes from early on. And that's not inherently bad. Representation is important. Expression is important. But with them, it often feels performative. It's like they drop a suggestive lyric, everyone screams, gay, and the marketing machine runs with it. It doesn't feel rooted in lived experience or genuine storytelling. It feels aesthetic. And then you compare that to xlov. xlov had lyrics censored for referencing a boy. Meanwhile, i-dle can release songs about blurred gender identity, provocative metaphors, and openly play with queer themes, and face little restriction. That's a double standard. You can't censor one group for mild homosexual references while allowing another to push boundary-themed concepts freely. Either the rules apply to everyone, or they don't. Even in mono, there are lines like East and West. And it made me think, we can bluntly say gay or straight in catchy hooks, but when it comes to deeper issues like racism or xenophobia, suddenly it's simplified to geography metaphors. It feels shallow. And that's my issue. Not the themes themselves, but the authenticity behind them. Because when representation becomes branding instead of reality, audiences can feel it. And that's it. Those are my opinions. Do want you wish with them. Feel free to let me know your opinions in the comments as well.